Well, guys, you can't say I didn't warn you. Quita in the Mornings starts now.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready? Ready, set, go.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Guys, we're going to talk about the day that was yesterday and the absolute chaos that has ensued. Because it was interesting. So yesterday we had a whole bunch of games that happened, at the same exact time. And while people were watching certain games, there was a lot of chatter about, oh my goodness, everybody needs to turn to the Connecticut Sun Indiana Fever game because some sparks were flying. Ultimately, I was able to watch it after, late last night. And what we saw was crazy. So what we're going to do is we're first going to go through specifically the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game and walk through how the referees just lost control of the game early, and how yesterday, when I gave y'all the talk I gave y'all about refereeing, and I said, you're going to get the wrong person, stuff is going to escalate and stuff is going to happen. Well, we saw what happened after that was over. Jeez. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about it, guys, in this one. And after that, we're gonna go through the other games that happened yesterday and catch you all up on what you may have missed, okay? All right, and we first start with, again, as I said, yesterday's games. The game that sparked all the conversation, the game that has led to a whole bunch of articles, and a game that has led to, honestly, less crazy talk than I expected when it came to the media. Okay? So you all, let's set the scene. Do you all remember yesterday I said the WNBA needs to get a handle on officiating before something bigger happens? Well, something bigger happened yesterday. And it happened in Indiana. Guys, let's set the scene real quick. This was a game that had implications when it came to the Commissioner's Cup. If the Indiana Fever won and the Atlanta Dream lost, and the point differential, the Indiana Fever could end up being in the finals for the Commissioner's Cup. So this game had a lot of stuff riding on it. A whole lot of stuff riding on it. This game also had just enough bad blood to boil over. The Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun got into it multiple times yesterday. So we're going to talk through what went down and how the referees completely lost control of another WNBA game. So to really set the scene as we get into this talk, let's really set the scene. And also, guys, please be respectful in the comments. Please be respectful. I understand that you all may have certain opinions and certain feelings and whatnot, but let's not call people out of their names. Let's not crash out to the craziest extent. Please be sane about this stuff, okay? All right. So, here's the deal. This game was not just any other game. This was a game that was important. Again, as I just talked about, it had Commissioner's Cup implications. Also, the Fever, they just lost to the Sun. Connecticut is a bad team. And the Connecticut Sun ended up beating the Indiana Fever a couple of games ago. Now, of course, Caitlin was not playing in that game, and so that makes it a little bit more understandable that the Connecticut Sun ended up slightly or actually beating the Indiana Fever, but it wasn't by that large of a margin, but it still is a big deal. The Indiana Fever wanted some revenge on their home court, and this one was also pretty personal as well. Right? This game was also pretty personal because this was a return of the old Big Ten rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Jacy Sheldon. Caitlin Clark played for Iowa. Jacy Sheldon played for Ohio State. And for 4 years, these players went back and forth. Jacy was known as one of the best defenders in the Big Ten, and her job, whenever Ohio State played Iowa, was to guard Caitlin Clark. A very impossible task, but a gritty one, a tough one, a physical one. So yeah, there's absolutely history. There's absolutely lore between Jacy Sheldon and Caitlin Clark. So with that being said, also guys, you all remember when Caitlin ended up dropping Jacy last year, and like that photo still lives on today. It's still a thing, right? You get what I'm saying? Like this is a matchup that, yes, mattered in terms of the Commissioner's Cup. Yes, Jacy Sheldon's job was to lock Caitlin down. Of course, you actually can't really lock Caitlin Clark down because she's Caitlin Clark and she's gonna get her shots off. So it was Jacy Sheldon's job to lock her down in college. It absolutely was. And as you saw in the Iowa versus Ohio State games, it didn't quite happen. But she tried her best. That was her job, to lock her down. But anyway, let's go through this. So let's go through the actual game that happened. But I just wanted to just start off with just sort of setting the scene that there is some history. There's some significant history between these two players. Okay? So, we go into incident 1. Now, guys, I am going to ignore the individual foul calls, and I'm going to focus on techs and flagrants. Okay? That's what we're doing in this conversation. Now, we can absolutely have a separate conversation just about the number of foul calls that were not called. So, if you're like, oh, she's ignoring all the fouls, I am. Because it is going to take forever to go through all the fouls that should have been called, because, yeah, there's a lot. Anyway, the first incident I want to talk about, it came up sort of early in the second quarter. We were seeing a physical game to start the game in that first quarter. But in that second quarter, we ended up seeing the first incident happen. Now, this happened sort of with a minute into the second quarter. And, Jacy Sheldon is playing defense. She's doing what she usually does, being physical. She is swiping at the ball, trying to frustrate Caitlin. Caitlin has the basketball. Caitlin is for her part, using that push off that she does quite often, right? So both players are fouling each other. Neither gets a foul call. Fine. Whatever. Caitlin ends up passing the basketball. Ball ends up going to Damaris Dantas. Dantas falls down. There's a scramble for the ball. It's a loose jump ball is what the refs call, and dead ball. Okay, dead ball. And at that time, you see both Caitlin and Jacy go to the ref, basically being like, "Hey," Jacy's basically like, "Hey, don't you see Caitlin pushing off?" And Caitlin is basically like, "Hey, don't you see her fouling me? Don't you see her fouling me?" So that happens, and the ref is like, whatever. And we see them two turn to each other and get into it with each other. They're just jawing at each other. And then Caitlin does a slight push to Jacy Sheldon. And Marina Mabrey sees that and is like, okay, well, I'm going to do a slight shove to you too. Hello to you, Caitlin Clark. Because Marina's like, hey, you're not going to touch my teammate like that. And so this was all happening in a dead ball situation, guys. This was happening in a dead ball situation. The referees could have called something and de-escalated. Now, I'm gonna at the end, I'm gonna walk through the steps I think the refs should have taken. But I'm just walking through the facts as we see them, as we saw them yesterday. The refs could have de-escalated the situation then, but nothing was called. Nothing was called. All right. So, dead ball. Caitlin, slight push to Jacy. Marina Mabrey sees that. Slight push to Caitlin. Referees, they blow their whistle, but nothing was actually called. Game moves on. Game moves on. Okay, now we fast forward. Now we fast forward to incident 2. Caitlin Clark is once again being defended by Jacy Sheldon. And Jacy Sheldon ends up swiping, getting Caitlin in the eye, poking her in the eye, which that hurts. That is not good. I'm sure no one likes to get poked in the eye. Okay? So that happens. Caitlin gets up. She's mad. She's absolutely mad. And so she gets up. She pushes Jacy Sheldon. And we see Marina Mabrey again. And it's happening in the third quarter. Marina Mabrey is like, hey, don't touch my teammate. She saw Caitlin push Jacy, and Marina Mabrey just boom knocks down Caitlin Clark, and now it's a little bit of a scuffle. Now it's a little bit of a scuffle, and also, guys, a thing to note is this also happened during dead ball, the dead ball period. So, like, basically, after the eye poke happened, the referees call a foul because, of course, that's a foul that ultimately does get upgraded. But, like, that's a foul. Clearly, that's a foul. And during that dead ball is when Caitlin shoved Jacy Sheldon. And we end up seeing Marina Mabrey take exception to that and shove Caitlin. And Tina Charles she's just there. And so there's a lot of commotion that happens. And Tina Charles is just in the way. She's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is just bad location for Tina Charles, and bad location for Lindsay Allen, who ends up getting in trouble later in the game as well. Just bad timing for those players. But after that happened, the referees end up reviewing. They end up going to the monitors for a long time, and what do they come up with? Well, they say flagrant 1 on Jacy Sheldon for the eye poke. They got a tech on Caitlin for the shove. They got a tech on Marina Mabrey for her shove as well. And for Tina Charles, she got a tech as well. What exactly did Tina Charles do? Nothing really. She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that's all the refs do. They don't. They don't do much of anything else after that. And again, what happens when you don't properly handle situations? Things escalate, and things escalated yesterday. Now, also to give even more context to you, after the eye poke, we do see Jacy walk into Caitlin, and that is what in my opinion sort of triggered Caitlin to end up pushing her. So that is something as well to kind of note. Okay. All right. Let's continue on. Also, guys, if y'all could, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. Please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. We got about 1,000 people in the chat. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. If y'all could, hit that like button as we go through the rest of this game. Okay? Let's go through the rest of this game. All right, let's continue on. So there was an opportunity for the refs to do more in this situation, but this is what they call. All right, this is what they call. Now, in a couple minutes, I will tell you exactly what I would have called in this situation because I don't agree with how the refs handled this. I think they could have nipped this whole thing in the bud, and what happened in the fourth quarter would never have happened if this would have got fixed at this moment. But it did not. Okay? Let's continue on. Guys, we fast forward to what I am calling incident 2.5. What I'm calling incident 2.5 is we're in the, I believe we're in the fourth quarter. We're halfway through the fourth quarter. Caitlin knocks down a big time three. You know, big. And then ultimately there's and then Connecticut has the basketball. I believe it's a shot clock violation. Indiana has it, and we see a timeout called by Indiana. So after a little while after Caitlin knocks down his big time three with Jacy Sheldon basically right there, and we see timeout called, and so everybody's walking to their bench. You know, Connecticut's walking to their bench. Indiana's walking to their bench. I don't see this in the video because we see the backs of on the main camera that showed, and maybe there's another angle that I just didn't see. It showed both Jacy Sheldon and Caitlin Clark walking to their bench. Now, I'm not sure if those two were talking to each other. I'm not sure if Jacy was saying something or Caitlin was saying something, or they both were talking at the same time. I don't know. But what we see is they're both walking to their bench, and all of a sudden, Caitlin whips around and starts jawing at Jacy Sheldon. Right? You know, and yeah, you know, it's hyping up the crowd. The crowd is getting into it, and it's real fun and all that stuff. You know, she's getting into it. She's excited. She is excited. Okay, and so a staff member, a referee gets in between. Jacy's looking over her shoulder, talking as she's still walking back to her bench. And you know, then Caitlin starts to run around and clap and get the crowd in it, and it just. I'm stating this as a thing just because it happened. Of course, nothing was called, and I don't think anything should have been called on that. It's just, you know, a little bit of extraness, I would say. But yeah, that's just a thing. All right, and then we continue on, guys, to the big Kahuna, incident 3. All right, incident 3 happens, and everything finally explodes. With about a minute left, I would say, about a minute left, Sofie Cunningham is on defense. She ends up tweaking her ankle. I believe it was, I forgot the exact person who ended up falling on Sofie Cunningham, but Sofie Cunningham ends up getting her ankle tweaked on defense. And Indiana has the basketball. It's 5 for Connecticut, 4 for Indiana, as it takes Sofie a little bit of time to get back up and come down the court. But we see Indiana get a turnover. They turn over the basketball. Jacy Sheldon has the ball. She's leading the fast break. For this Connecticut Sun team. Now this game is over. Now at this point we got about a minute, less than a minute left to go. Less than a minute left to go, and the game is over. It's very easy to see. It's very, very easy to see that the Fever won, of course. So not I mean, you're sure foul her, not, or let her go. It doesn't matter. The game is over, basically. So Sofie Cunningham catches up with Jacy Sheldon and wraps her hard, knocks her down to the ground. All right, arms kind of around her shoulders, takes Jacy Sheldon down. It's a hard foul. So of course, it's a big deal. And then, someone knocks you down hard on a hard foul on a late game play when the game has already been decided. You take exception to that. You get upset about that. So Jacy gets up. She, goes towards Sofie like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing, Sofie? Like, I'm just going for a layup and you foul me this hard? So Sofie ends up grabbing Jacy by the back of her hair, and now it's chaos. Now it is chaos. We got players rushing in, trying to break up stuff. We got Lindsay Allen that's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, Lindsay Allen, similar to Tina Charles, didn't do much of anything. Like, she was just there. She was just there in the wrong spot, and she's just like, oh my goodness. But it's between Sofie and Jacy, right? And they're jawing, they're going at it, they're wrapping each other up of sorts. And chaos is there. Referees try to break it up. Other players try to break it up. It's just a whole big deal. It's a whole big deal. And players get ejected, right? Sofie, Jacy, Lindsay. All right. So yeah. And the referees go to the monitor, and they take a look, they watch, they review, and what do they come up with? Well, players are ejected. Players are out. It's over from here for those particular players. Okay. Now, I do see some people saying that Lindsay. I watched this several times. I didn't really see Lindsay Allen do really anything but kind of be in the wrong spot. She was trying to break it up. I'm seeing people saying that Lindsay was attacking Sofie, and it seemed like she was just trying to break it up. Like, it didn't seem like she was actually trying to be malicious. She saw Sofie trying to go towards Jacy, and she was like, okay, wait, calm down. It didn't seem like she was actually trying to attack anybody. It seemed like she was just trying to, like, she saw what was possibly going to happen, and she was just trying to stop it. Like, it didn't seem like of course her hands were high because she's trying to stop it. But I don't think that Lindsay was going towards Sofie's neck at all. Did she make contact to Sofie's upper body? Absolutely. I don't think that Lindsay was trying to do anything other than stop the situation. She was in the wrong spot. She saw what was about to happen, and she was like, hey, calm down. But yeah, I mean, you all may disagree, but that's fine. But yeah, I don't think Lindsay Allen intended to do anything. But at the end of the day, those players get ejected. All right? All three of those players ejected. So, with all of that being said, here's how this game should have been officiated, in my opinion. Here's how the game should have been officiated. Now, of course, call actual fouls. Like, call stuff when it happens in real time. And if you call stuff, then you're going to not have stuff escalate. So, but if you are going to ignore fouls, at least call the bigger things. And the problem was the refs didn't call the bigger things. So, in my opinion, this is how the game should have been officiated in terms of the bigger calls. Okay? In the second quarter, in that dead ball situation, when Caitlin did that shove to shove. I'm gonna say light push because that's basically what it was. Light push to Jacy Sheldon, and then Marina Mabrey did that light push to Caitlin Clark. That I'm not talking about the third quarter. I'm talking about the second quarter when both of those players did a slight push to each other. A slight push, right? In my opinion, we should have seen at that moment, because it was a dead ball situation, there should have been text on both Caitlin and Marina for those pushes. If you would have, you already saw these players was amped up. Dead ball situation, two players shove each other, or two players get shoved. So, can we all agree that if you are shoving somebody in a dead ball situation, that should be tech. Simple tech. Move on. Okay? We go to the third quarter. That's that whole situation with the eye poke, that was deserving of a flagrant one. No problem with that. That was a flagrant one. Absolutely. However, Caitlin does another shove to Jacy Sheldon, which should have gotten a tech, in my opinion. And Marina Mabrey should have got an automatic flagrant 2 for that even more excessive shove. Okay? And Marina Mabrey should have automatically been ejected from the game. She, at that point, in the ideal world, she would have already had one tech. I mean, flagrant 2 is automatic ejection anyway, but like still. Marina Mabrey should not have played after that third quarter. She should have gotten ejected. Boom. Out the door. You're out, Marina. You're out. Because that was not warranted and super, super excessive. Okay? Not warranted at all. Not warranted. So, Marina Mabrey would have got the flagrant 2 and ejected. And because of that additional push after she got poked in the eye, so of course, you upset you got poked in the eye. Of course, it makes sense. It should have been a tech. And that would have been Caitlin's second tech of the game, and she would have been out. Because if you get 2 techs, you're out. Okay? Now, I completely am in full support of that flagrant 1 eye poke, because if you poke somebody in the eye, when you poke somebody in the eye, you're supposed to get a flagrant, in my opinion. Flagrant 1. Okay? If these 2 incidents happen, again, in my opinion, I don't think that Sofie Cunningham situation happens in the fourth quarter. I don't think it happens, because I think part of what it was that Sofie Cunningham was pissed. 1, because she just tweaked her ankle, and 2, I think it's part of like her trying to play enforcer, her trying to be like, you've been messing with my teammate the whole game. I'm about to stand up for her or whatever. But I do think that if players would have seen that there are real consequences, then stuff would have happened. Okay? Stuff would not have happened the way it did. All right? Calix says, how is someone not allowed to react to an eye poke? React to an eye poke, absolutely. Now, of course, should Caitlyn be upset? Absolutely. I'd be upset too. And I might also be like, what are you doing? Why you do that for? And still, that it's a dead ball situation, you do a push to someone, yeah, in my opinion, that's a tech. I do think that's a tech. I do. Now, was Caitlyn warranted to do that? Yeah, sure. Because it's natural. But also, just because it's a natural reaction, the refs still have to call it like they should call it. So, yeah. Now, if you wanted to escalate that call on Jacy Sheldon and give her a little bit more, sure, that's fine too. That's fine too. Okay. But anyway, basically, I think the ref should have taken care of it earlier, and this situation would not have happened. So yeah, some of y'all are probably pissed to be like, what? You would give Caitlyn a tech for shoving somebody? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Because I would say the same thing if it was another player. The thing that you all need to know about me, the thing that some of you all are probably new to this channel, some of y'all probably don't know the way I operate, I call it like I see it. Every time. If the same exact situation happened and the Chicago Sky it was the Chicago Sky and it was Angel instead of Caitlyn, I would say the same exact thing, guys. I would say the same exact thing. And I would also, at the same time, get people to that would be like, oh, see, I knew you hated the Sky. I knew you did this. I knew. It still would have. It would have been the same thing. So my point is my point. We saw what we saw. I walked through what we saw earlier, and now I am saying what I think should have happened. Now, some of y'all are going to be pissed because how dare you give Caitlyn a tech for shoving somebody after she got poked in the eye? Well, but she did shove somebody. I think that warrants a tech. I do. If anybody does that, I think it warrants a tech. And that's okay to disagree. But don't be like, oh, it's because she hates Caitlyn or because she hates the Fever or because she's a Sky fan. So now any opinion she has cannot be objective at all about any team because she, is super biased or whatever. Here's the deal. She was poked in the eye and we saw Jacy Sheldon walk into her. Jacy Sheldon didn't shove her. She walked into her. Now, if you want to call a tech on that too, sure. I wouldn't be upset with that either. I wouldn't be. Okay? And if the shoe was on the other foot and I said the same thing about the Chicago Sky, I would then have people being like, oh, see, you hate them too. You just can't, you are terrible. So basically, all in all, everyone's upset for the most part. And I'm comfortable with that. Okay? Because here's the deal. Here's the deal. What happened yesterday was ridiculous. Also, guys, in that fourth quarter, those ejections, I got no problem with those ejections. Zero problems with those ejections. And what I had on the screen was what, in my opinion, should have happened. Okay? That's what should have happened. And those ejections in the fourth quarter, those were absolutely the way they should have been. Okay? I completely agree with those ejections. All right? But here's the deal. All of this could have been preventable. Could have been prevented. All of it. All of it. It would have been prevented if the refs would have set the tone earlier. Here's the deal. The Fever won the game. That should be the conversation. They are headed to the Commissioner's Cup Finals, which is an amazing accomplishment. That should be the story. The fact that a team that did they 1-9? Didn't they go 1-9 last year to start the season? A team that was horrible at the start of last season is now going to be in the Commissioner's Cup. That's the story. That is exciting. That is huge. That should be the conversation. The storyline should be how the Indiana Fever was able to turn around a franchise just like that. And the story should also be Caitlin Clark and the fantastic game she had yesterday. Right? That's what it should be about. But instead, the conversation is about chaos. It's about players shoving each other. It's about players getting ejected. It's about just insanity on the court. That's the conversation. And yet again, the referees are back in the spotlight, and we're talking about how the refs let this game spiral out of control. This was a game of emotions that were already kind of high to start this game. You already saw it in the first quarter. And as the game went on, it escalated and escalated and escalated and escalated and escalated to the point where it was boiling over. Guys, this is a game that should not have happened the way it happened. But the reason why it happened the way it did is because the officials failed to manage a game with obvious tensions. Obvious. I said it yesterday. We talked about it yesterday. And people were like, oh, see, you're only saying this because Angel got her hair pulled and whatnot. I was anticipating something like this happening. Because when the referees fail to control a game, players will control it for them. Do you blame Sofie Cunningham for doing what she did? Do you blame her? Because she's coming to the defense of her teammate, being like, you know what? What Marina Mabrey shoved Caitlin twice, right? Jacy poked her in the eye, and Jacy been playing physical all game. The refs didn't nip it in the bud. And so Sophie's like, hey, my ankle hurt and I just hurt my ankle. Let my my speculation on this. It seems like Sophie's like, you know what? Nah, get out of here. I'm gonna take up for my teammate. Do you blame her? The reason why she did what she did is because the referees didn't take care of the game. If they would have took care of it, that would have helped to kind of nip it in the bud. Right? But you didn't do it. And if you call those texts on Marina and Caitlin in that second quarter, maybe not. That third quarter incident happens. You have to set the tone early as the refs. You have to do it. And if you don't, the players will do it for you. And at the end of the day, the players will do whatever you allow them to do. And you allowed that to take place. And here's the deal. The WNBA cannot let this slide. Not again. Not again. You cannot consistently botch opportunities to call the right thing. Now, yes, absolutely. There's foul calls and foul calls do not get called. Right? We're not talking about foul calls. We're talking about stuff that should have been called in terms of text and flagrants. Marina Mabrey should not have played after that third quarter, in my opinion. She shouldn't have. She should have got a flagrant 2 ejection. She should have been out. Because that was super excessive and unnecessary. Again, nip stuff in the bud. Now we'll see. We'll see what the refs do. We will see. We will see what happens with the WNBA front office. Now we'll see what they actually end up doing because this is ridiculous. You cannot continue to let this slide. You cannot continue to let bad officiating slide. You can't. And if you continue to do that, that will increase the spotlight on the WNBA. And here's the deal. This game did not get as bad as it could have gotten. What you cannot do if you're the WNBA, if you're Kathy Engelbert, if you are whoever the person is, Roy Gobain and all these other people who are in charge, who are like at the top of the referee structure, like you cannot afford to let a game in the future happen like this, because if it does happen again, it very well could turn into a brawl. It very well could. This could have been way, way, way worse than it was. Way worse. And if you don't do your job, front office of the WNBA, if you don't do your job, referees, I understand you don't get paid a ton of money. I understand. But you got to do your job. You have or don't be in the job. One or the other. One or the other. Because these players are going to do what they do. Marina Mabrey is going to do what you allow her to do on the court. Sophie Cunningham is going to do what you allow her to do on the court. Jacy Sheldon will do what you allow her to do on the court. Caitlin Clark will do what you allow her to do. They all will do what you allow. So, if you don't control it, they will control it for themselves. And you don't want players to control it for themselves because you cannot control what the players end up doing. You can't control that. You can't, guys. You can't. I'm just saying, like this is not where the WNBA needs to be. This is not a good look for the league. This is terrible, actually. This is absolutely terrible for the WNBA. It is. Now, after the game, we're going to get to your comments in just a second. I just want to give even more context to this whole thing. And I understand some of y'all are like pissed, like, oh, how could Quita say what we didn't like her? We don't want her saying. How could she have a opinion that differs from mine? How could that happen? Well, it is what it is. But I do want to leave with the pool report after the game. So after the game, the WNBA media have an opportunity to ask questions to. They have an opportunity to ask questions to the referees, and I want to walk through what was said. All right. So here is the pool report, and I just want to read out what it said. So it said, why was Jacy Sheldon's foul upgraded to a flagrant one? That was for the eye poke. So they're asking, why was it upgraded? Well, Ashley Gloss ended up saying, she was a crew chief yesterday, and she ended up saying, in the judgment of the officials, the foul by Sheldon was unnecessary. The contact to Caitlin Clark's face. Furthermore, there was a windup and impact, and the contact to the face carries a potential for injury. So zero issues with that. That was absolutely a flagrant one in my opinion. So good call by the refs. Absolutely. Okay. Question number 2. What went into deciding Marina Mabrey should get a technical instead of something more severe like an injection? That's when that was in the third quarter when Marina did that significant shove to Caitlin Clark. And Ashley Gloss says the contact made by Marina did not rise to the level of an ejection. Additionally, it did not meet the criteria for a flagrant foul penalty 2. Well, in my opinion, it did. Now, of course, the referees disagree with that, and they're saying, hey, this does not fit flagrant foul 2. Right? And if some of y'all are wondering, what is a flagrant 2? Well, a flagrant 2 is listed as unnecessary and excessive contact. In my opinion, what Marina did in that third quarter was unnecessary and it was excessive. So, to me, it does easily fit the definition. It easily fits the definition of a flagrant 2. But the referees disagree, so it is what it is. All right, let me move on to the third question. It says, why did Caitlin Clark get a technical foul? And they say, after the foul by Sheldon, Clark reacted in an unsportsmanlike manner towards Sheldon. Okay. And that happened in the third quarter. Also, she did the same exact thing in the second quarter, and the refs didn't call that a tech. So that's a little bit of a confusion as to like what's going on there. Okay. All right. And we have some more questions to finish us off with. All right. It says, why did Tina Charles get a technical foul? It says Tina runs towards Caitlin Clark in an unsportsmanlike manner and taunts her. I really don't think Tina Charles was taunting. I really, really don't think Tina Charles was taunting Caitlin. I don't mind that tech because sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it is what it is. So I don't mind that tech, but I also don't think that Tina Charles was trying to taunt anybody. I don't. I think she was just trying to de-escalate. But again, I don't mind the tech. But yeah, I don't think she was. I don't think she was taunting or trying to be unsportsmanlike. Because I don't think that's just not who Tina Charles is especially like this version of Tina Charles, this sort of like seasoned vet version of her. But again, I don't mind the tech, but I don't think she did anything intentionally. Okay. Okay. We also have the final question. Says in the fourth quarter, why was Sophie's Cunningham's foul upgraded to a flagrant 2? Oh yeah, and sorry, it was a flagrant 2. It wasn't just a flagrant 2. Says we felt that a contact by Cunningham was unnecessary and excessive. It was unnecessary and excessive. So good call, refs. And then the final question was, why did Sheldon and Lindsay Allen get assessed technicals for fighting? Says the altercation that occurred after the foul by Sophie, we ruled it as a fight. Sheldon and Lindsay Allen were both escalators in that altercation, and therefore they were ejected for fighting. So again, I don't think that Lindsay Allen was actually trying to fight. But again, as I said earlier, I don't mind the ejection. I don't. I think that's totally fine. Right? I think that's totally fine. I have no qualms, no issues with the ejections of either Sophie, Jacy, or Lindsay. Even though I don't think that she was trying to go after Sophie in a malicious way. I really do think she was just trying to de-escalate the whole situation. But that's what the refs had to say. So, with that being said, what do you all have to say? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Please be respectful in the comments. Please be respectful. I'm very curious. What do you all think about this whole thing? All right. Yeah, let me know. Dedrick says the refs don't know what a fight is. Okay. Let's see. Okay, there's a lot of super chats. Let me get to super chats actually. Julia, thank you so much for the super chat. Says loving the new setup. Quita, keep it up. Thank you. GDM says I wonder. Thank you for the super chat. Says I wonder why how mainstream media will label Mabrey and Sheldon, if they will label them as thugs like they did with Kennedy and Angel. I loved the game. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen any of that language. And I will say, like, yes, the altercation happened and it was very unfortunate. However, I do think that that the media did a better job than what they've done in the past with the rhetoric that they've used in talking about this situation. I and I don't know if you all noticed that too. There was a, like, it wasn't as bad as, like, in terms of, like, some of the adjectives and stuff that people were saying and using for this game. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be after I heard what happened. Clamp, thanks so much for the super chat, says Sophie, Matt Barnes, Cunningham. I mean, I know who Matt Barnes is. I don't know the exact reference to that. Ghost, thank you so much for the super chat, says your take on Sheldon bodying Caitlin Clark after the eye poke. I mean, yeah, she walked into her and I think it was probably like a intimidation thing. Like, okay, yeah, I got you, maybe, in a way. Like, that could have been what that was meaning. And here's the deal. I would not have had a problem if for that little, and it wasn't much, but still, remember, it's a heightened thing. I wouldn't have been upset if the refs would have called a tech on that too. I wouldn't have been upset. Because again, you felt where the game was, and you felt the intensity, and you got to call it accordingly. Okay, that's what I got to say about that. Angie says Fever going to the Commissioner's Cup. Yeah. Hey, man, the Indiana Fever did their thing. They did their big one in that game yesterday. Big one. Okay? And it was pretty great to see. Also, I'm gonna make this subscriber only. Some of y'all getting too wild in the chat. I should have did that earlier. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, shout out to the Indiana Fever. Hey, shout out to the Fever, man. What a massive turnaround. And it just shows you like how important Caitlin really is to this team. Like truly, like it's no way the Fever would have made it to the Commissioner's Cup. Again, in my opinion, there's no way they would have made it if Caitlin didn't come back from her injury. I'm just saying, there's no way. They night and day. They've been playing a whole lot better. Night and day. All right. Love my three babes. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says that kind of foul with seconds left is a mental issue. I'm not gonna comment on people's mental state. I'm not doing that. Lauren, thanks so much for the super chat. Says, are you available to ref? Guys, I went through ref training 2 summers ago, I think. And I was really gonna do it, but ultimately it just with the recording schedule I have for this channel and for like my actual job, like time wise, like I just couldn't swing it. But I did go through referee training, and I think I still do have my like ref shirt in my closet. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. And I will tell you, refereeing is a very hard job. Very hard. Because when I was going through the training, we did like we ended up reffing a random park game where it's like, adults come together and they're, make up teams and they're going to go against each other. And we were reffing that like a regular pickup game. And I tell you how hard it is to be able to catch in real time fouls. And there were times where I see stuff, and then it would be a delayed reaction to when I would blow the whistle. And it's like, why you wait so late to blow the whistle? And it's like, I don't know. It was just a delayed reaction. Like I saw it, but then it was like a delayed reaction to like actually respond to it. And anyway, refereeing is hard. It's very, very hard. And one day I would love to get into refereeing. One day, but it's hard. Very, very hard. Okay. Let's see. Lewis, thank you so much for the super chat. Says a season ticket holder, and I have seen punches, refs being bumped, players running onto the court, all not allowed by the NBA. Well, I mean, if a player runs onto the court and they're on the bench, they get automatically ejected. So, like, that's not allowed in the WNBA either. They usually review that after the fact, and whoever leaves the bench area, it's like a certain area that you have to stay at. If you leave that and you're not a coach, you get ejected. So that's a thing. So like that's not allowed in the WNBA either. And punches are not allowed in the WNBA either. Like none of that is allowed in the WNBA. So like it's going to also get caught in the WNBA as well. If you punch someone. Now, if they catch it, again, sometimes referees don't catch everything, but like, none of that is allowed in the WNBA either. It's just whether or not they catch it. Ghost, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, thank you, Quita. Reasonable take. I thought it reasonable. I guys, what I try to do, I try to go through my arguments and like, okay, I write out what I want to talk about. And I'm like, okay, well, what if someone says this? What's my reaction? How do I contend with with my take on what I saw, and so I try my best to argue with myself before I do these streams to try to be as reasonable as possible. Now, of course, people will always be mad, and to be honest with you, if everybody on all sides, on all different fan bases are upset, I'm not that upset with my I'm not like, oh man, that was a terrible take. You know what I'm saying? Like I like, it's fine actually if the Connecticut fans and the Indiana fans are upset. I try my best to be as level as possible before I go into a stream. Am I always successful at it? No, but I try my best to. All right. Lewis, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Sophie should be suspended. That could have caused a career-ending injury. Sheldon should be fined, and Marina. Honestly, guys, I am cool. I am cool with some suspensions. Like I wouldn't be upset at all. I would not be upset with if the WNBA comes down with some suspensions. I really do think Sophie at least needs something. I wouldn't be upset if Jacy got something too, if Marina got something too. I wouldn't be upset with that at all. But we'll see what we'll see what the league ends up doing. We will see. Ghost, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, I suspect the league is secretly loving this from a marketing perspective. Culture wars draws eyeballs. Maybe the refs have been asked to lay off. I don't think so. There's a line, and this crossed the line. I truly believe this crossed the line. I think yes, I do think that the marketing team likes the physical nature of the WNBA because it helps in that whole thing, like in the whole narrative about the WNBA. But I don't think the marketing team of the WNBA or Kathy Engelbert, anybody, is happy about what they saw yesterday. I don't think anybody's happy with that because that took it to another level. Okay? That took it to another level. And the conversation just ratcheted up. And what we saw on the court is just not acceptable. So I don't think the league is actually okay with that. I think it went too far. Now, had it stopped in the fourth quarter and had Sofie Cunningham not done what she did, yeah, I think maybe the marketing team and whatnot would have been like, okay, that's pretty cool. But I think that Sofie Cunningham thing really took it to another level. It really took it to another level. And I hope the WNBA did not ask referees to lay off. And if they did, change it. Hey, call it. When you feel everything kind of ratcheting up, you gotta call something. You have to nip it in the bud. Have to. Okay? Thank you so much, that dude right there, for the super chat. Says, thank you for calling it straight down the middle. Quita, regardless of what some might say, you've done it that way since day one. I love your channel. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Like, truly, I really do try my best to just say it down the line. If I'm going to say it about the Fever, I'm going to say it about the Sky. I'm going to say it about the Connecticut Sun. I'm going to say it about the New York Liberty. I'm going to say it about the Washington Mystics. I'm going to say it about everybody. Like, because at the end of the day, I think we as women's basketball fans deserve to have a straight down the middle type of, as best as possible. Now, I'm trying my best, but again, I'm just human, and I'm gonna try my best to be straight line as possible. But I think we need something that's just more. You may disagree, but at least you know that the person coming at it is not coming at it with I'm trying to benefit XYZ team because it doesn't really matter to me, to be honest with you. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I have no stake in the ground for any of this stuff. I just want to see great basketball, and what we saw yesterday was ugly, and it wasn't good, and it's not good for the game. It's not, in my opinion. All right. Ryan, thanks so much for the super chat. Says I thought they hated Caitlin Clark because she's white. Yeah, I don't know. No comment. LL Kune, thank you so much for the super chat. Says thank you for your fair coverage. Thank you so much for your support. Angie says you gotta wear a ref shirt on a live, please. Dwayne says, have you considered covering other sports? I have. I'm really big into women's softball as well. I've thought about that. But I just don't have time. Like I have zero time. I barely have enough time to cover the WNBA. Barely. Yeah, I don't have enough time, unfortunately. All right. But maybe in the future. Who knows? It won't be on this channel for sure. It won't be on this channel. Okay. Beatles for sale. Thank you so much. I guess Beatles has some Beatles for sale. Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat. Says looking forward to seeing Caitlin Clark designer Kareem goggles. I mean, honestly, I already have glasses. Like and like back in the day, I did wear goggles initially until I transitioned to contacts and whatnot. But anyway, honestly, I some of these players may seriously want to consider getting goggles because players do be poking, they be swiping, and you don't want to get caught in the eye. I'm just saying. Now, when you get caught in the eye, you better get a flagrant for that. Like if someone's going, again, hair pulling, automatic flagrant 1, poke in the eye. Can we agree that is an automatic flagrant 1 as well? Can we agree on that? Can we agree that should also be an automatic flagrant 1? All right, let's get to some more y'all comments. Yeah, Alicia Gray rocks the goggles. Hey, and them goggles look good. Yeah. Yep. I would be in favor. I would be in favor of players wearing goggles. Now, should they have to wear goggles if they don't want to? No, but I'm paranoid about my eyes personally, so I personally would. I personally would wear goggles. Okay. All right. Let's continue on. Let's see what else you all have to say, and then we will wrap it up from here. Simba says, I disagree with your take because you are part of the old guard that will protect this irrelevant league, even if it means the WNBA remains a charity case. What exactly do you disagree with? Since I've been a fan for a long time, that should disqualify me from having an opinion, or like that automatically means that you disagree is because I've been a fan for a long time. Also, I'm a fan of women's basketball. The WNBA is the professional women's basketball league for the United States. If I lived in Europe, I would be a massive EuroLeague fan because in Europe, the EuroLeague is the main league when it comes to like the best of the best when it comes to European club teams. I am a fan of women's basketball. The WNBA is here. So I'm a fan of the WNBA because I like women's basketball. And if I want to watch professional basketball in the WNBA, I will watch the WNBA. If you don't like the WNBA, then don't watch the WNBA. It's totally cool. I actually know a lot of people who don't like the WNBA and they only watch college basketball because they're like, I don't want to support the WNBA. I don't like the WNBA. And all they do is watch women's college basketball, and that's okay. That's okay. All right, but yeah, don't be wild to just be like, oh no, I gotta disagree because you've been a fan for a long time. Okay, okay. Du jour, thank you so much for the super chat. Says Sophie suspended, Caitlin Clark suspended, Mabrey suspended, Sheldon suspended, Tina and Lindsay text taken back. Everyone needs to get got except those who broke it up. I don't think Caitlin. What would Caitlin be suspended for? I don't know what Caitlin would be suspended for. Again, I'm fine. I'm fine with if they want to suspend Sophie, sure. If they want to suspend Jacy, sure. If they want to suspend Marina, sure. I don't know why Caitlin would be suspended. I don't know why she would be suspended. Also, no, I don't think Tina and Lindsay's text should be taken back. I don't think they should be taken back. Now, I think they both were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and Lindsay got her hands up, and it did get to Sophie's neck. Now, what she again, as I said earlier, I don't think she was trying to do anything. I think she was really just trying to stop it. So yeah. But I don't think that they should be taken back. I think those are fine calls. Okay. Taylor, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, not watch the W. What am I supposed to watch during the summer months? There's a ton of stuff on online to watch. A lot of awesome stuff to watch. But in my opinion, my favorite thing to watch in the summer is the WNBA for sure. All right. Okay. Now, that was a whole lot, but there were also other games that happened yesterday as well. We saw the New York Liberty take down the Atlanta Dream, which is why the Indiana Fever is in the Commissioner's Cup finals. The reason why is because all Atlanta had to do was win yesterday. That's all they had to do, but they couldn't do it. They got the L, and that ultimately led to what happened, which again, history, right? It's first time that we see Indiana in the Commissioner's Cup, and with this Dream Liberty game, guys, let's talk about this real quick because what was it, the second game straight that Sabrina Ionescu just goes off. Sabrina Ionescu in that game, crazy, 34 points. She goes off, guys. Shoots very efficiently. 50% from the 3-point line. She went off yesterday. Okay, her and Breanna Stewart basically scored all the points for the New York Liberty yesterday, and I mean, the Atlanta Dream kind of had the win. They had a good chance of winning that game, and then they just kind of lost it in the fourth quarter. Tahina Paopao played fantastic in this one. Tahina Paopao, can we say that maybe she has earned more minutes for this team? Can we say that? I think she has. I think Paopao has earned more minutes. I would like to see her play more minutes. 16 points for her off the bench, goes off from 3, 4 for 5 for her. led the entire Atlanta Dream team in scoring. Only playing 15 minutes in yesterday's game. Can we all agree? More minutes for Tina Pow Pow. More minutes for Pow Pow. And Saab is cooking. Saab is cooking. And it is very good to see Sabrina Ionescu playing at the top of her game because, yeah, that's what she was doing yesterday. Ultimately, the New York Liberty beat the Atlanta Dream 86-81. Also, we ended up seeing the Chicago Sky lose to the Washington Mystics. This is a game that they had as well, and they just kind of lost it. And especially in that fourth quarter. It started in the third quarter, but really escalated in that fourth quarter. Final score 79 Mystics, 72 Chicago. Ultimately, Brittany Sykes dominated, especially in that second half. Ultimately, Brittany Sykes ended up with 32 points in yesterday's game. Again, also 4 for 5 from the three-point line. She was unstoppable, and there was nothing that the Sky guards could really do about it. Angel and Camilla both have fantastic games. Both have double-doubles apiece between the two of them. And it doesn't matter, though, because ultimately the guards don't do enough for the Chicago Sky, and they end up losing. I want to talk real quick about the game that surprised me. A game result that I did not expect to see, but we ended up seeing nonetheless. We ended up seeing the Dallas Wings gets another huge W, guys. This Dallas Wings team has been struggling all season, and they got the win against the Golden State Valkyries. A thing to note, though, that this is not the normal Golden State Valkyries because a lot of the European players are gone. They're playing in they're going to be playing in Eurobasket, and so like that's a thing. That is absolutely a thing. Okay. So yeah, this is not the normal Golden State Valkyries, but still, the Dallas Wings do end up getting the dub, and both Arike and Paige both do their thing, 19 and 20 points respectively between the two of them, and Dallas is back in the win column. Thing to note is that that game was the first game for Leah Rue. She was the one who was traded to the Dallas Wings from the Seattle Storm, and so it's good to see her get on the basketball court. I do anticipate more minutes from her as time goes on, but yeah. Also, here's the deal, guys. Letitia Ami here. She did her thing yesterday as well. She came off the bench for the Golden State Valkyries, 14 points for her, which was good. Monique Billings and Kayla Thornton, they led the charge for the Golden State Valkyries, but it just wasn't enough. For the Valks, and they end up getting the L. Okay? And we got 2 more games to go real quick. We're going to go through them real quick because I got to go. This has been a long stream, man. Very, very long stream, guys. We also saw the Las Vegas Aces lose to the Minnesota Lynx. The Minnesota Lynx, who have clinched another berth into the Commissioner's Cup. Remember, they were in the Commissioner's Cup last year. Last year, it was Minnesota versus New York in the Commissioner's Cup in a game that we saw Minnesota end up getting the dub. And in that game, a not so good thing happened, right? In that game, we saw Nafisa Collier end up tweaking her back. And that's a bad sign for the Washington Mystics, Minnesota Lynx. That was a really, really bad sign. However, ultimately we do see the Minnesota Lynx end up just gritting it out and getting the dub. But yeah, terrible possible news for Nafisa. It's like I saw her like she like tweaked her back and she was like holding it. She went out of the game and did not return back onto the court. And so that's something significant to note. The Commissioner's Cup game will be in a couple of weeks, and so we'll see ultimately if she's going to be healthy enough to play in that. But Nafisa Collier, only playing 19 minutes. Yeah, it's because she was hurt. She was hurt. She got hurt, tweaked her back. And the good thing about the Minnesota Lynx is that Courtney Williams stepped up and had a really good game. She ultimately ended up with 20 points. She does not shoot efficiently at all. She does not shoot efficiently, but she get the points that she needed to get. And she got some help off the bench from both Natisha Heidemann, who normally, Natisha be doing her stuff, but Diamond Miller. Can we give a shout out in the chat to Diamond Miller? Can we give a shout out to Diamond Miller? Let's go. And it seemed like she got a little bit emotional during the press conference. Like, man, Diamond Miller, she was a high draft pick a couple of years ago for a reason. She is a talented player. It's just that she got hurt, and then she just hasn't been able to really get her footing for real with this Minnesota Lynx team. And I really like the fact that she was able to show off her game yesterday. She knocked down both of her threes yesterday. Ultimately, she ended up with 12 points. Shout out to Diamond Miller, guys. Because truly, players go through it. They go through it, and they, it's a lot to deal with. It's a whole lot to deal with. In terms of like playing time, and like you get hurt, and now you're not playing as well as you thought you should be, and you're frustrated and all this other stuff. Diamond Miller had a really good game, and I love to see that aspect of players, right? I love to see it. Right? This was the second pick in the 2023 draft. And she has not had the easiest of times, right? She has not had the easiest of times, but it's good to see her do her thing. It really, 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 really good to see. Really good to see. But again, C-Dub, Courtney Williams, her and Natisha Heidemann, they don't have the same hair color anymore because Natisha Heidemann changed the hair color. But Courtney's still pink. She is still pink. Okay. All right, and then we also had the Seattle Storm versus, also just real quick about the Aces, real quick. I can't just ignore them. But they played without A'ja Wilson again, and also they just lose because they just don't have enough. They don't have enough offensive firepower. Like Jewel Lloyd, she did good for her 3-point shots, but like she struggled with everything else, and it just wasn't enough. Jewel Lloyd only 12 points. Jackie Young only 9 points. Kia Stokes did score, so that was good. She had 7 points in yesterday's game, but like it's just not enough. It's just not enough. The Aces, they need a lot. They need a lot. They just going through it right now. They just going through it. Then we also saw the Seattle Storm take down the LA Sparks 98-67, and in that game it was Nneka, Skylar, Erica. Basically in that order. Nneka Ogwumike continues to play at a high level. Yes, Nneka Ogwumike is she's a little bit older, right? 34 years old, but she still has a whole lot of basketball left to go. And yesterday, she was on her big one. And that's all you can ask for Madam President, aka Nneka Ogwumike. 26 points, 5 rebounds for her. And then we look at the likes of Gabby Williams, who like doesn't score a ton, but she was whipping that basketball. She's passing that basketball yesterday. 7 assists, I should say, for her. 11 points for her. And then we got Skylar Diggins-Smith and Erica Wheeler, who continues to do their thing. I really like that sort of like the 1-2 punch of Skylar and Erica. I think they're. If you would have asked me before the season started, would I imagine a lot of minutes for both of them on the court at the same time? I would have said no. But like I think they work really well together. I really do. 15 points, 7 assists for Skylar, and 15 points for Erica Wheeler as well. Alicia Clark, a former Aces player, ended up having 14 points as well as the LA Sparks. They don't have that great of a spark. And ultimately, they end up getting the L in yesterday's game. A couple things to note. A couple things to note, guys, is that Kelsey Plum did not play in yesterday's game, and so that's a huge part of like why the LA Sparks lose as bad as they do, right? She does have a lower leg injury, and so she was out yesterday. And so yeah, if Kelsey Plum plays, it won't be that bad of a loss. But yeah, they still would have lost though, in my opinion. But anyway, that is the stream. That is everything. We went through the drama of yesterday, and I also caught you all up on the other games that happened yesterday. What y'all think about them? Let me know in the comments. If y'all could, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. That really does help the channel out a whole lot. I know this was a lot. This was a long stream. This was also a stream that had some high emotions in the chat. And truly, guys, I wanna thank some of y'all for y'all level-headedness in the chat. I know that people are passionate about their thoughts, but I think we just always have to remember that that we got to be respectful of other people, right? We got to be respectful. We got to do things the right way, and we got to lead with love. And I try to do that on this channel. I try to model that, and you know, I ask that we all do that together, right? And give people grace, you know, and treat people the way you would like to be treated, not necessarily the way that they're treating you. Okay, so that's it. What do y'all think about my overall thoughts about everything? Like, dislike, what do y'all think? But please, as always, please be respectful. Please be respectful, guys. Yeah, this has been Quita in the Mornings, or morning. This has been Quita in the Morning. My name is Quita. We have been chatting all about what's happening in the WNBA. And thank you so much for rocking with me. If y'all could, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, guys, if you are not subscribed to the podcast, make sure to subscribe. It is called Quita in the Morning. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, find it on Spotify, wherever you can find it, you can find it. All right, guys. I thank you for joining me. You guys have a good day. Tell somebody that they matter, because they absolutely do. And if no one has told you, you matter. Let me tell you, you matter, you are important, and I'm very, very, very happy you are on this earth. Guys, I love you. But most importantly, guys, Jesus loves you. And I will see y'all in the next one. Be kind to people and be respectful. All right? Say opinions, but be respectful. All right. See y'all in the comments. All right, till next time, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. Let me play my intro. Let me play my outro. There we go. Here we go.
Are you ready?
Ready, set,